You open your eyes for the first time surrounded by endless white walls of snow. The world outside is frozen solid, but inside this small den carved into the ice, warmth wraps around you like a living thing. You are a newborn Baikal seal, the only freshwater seal species on the planet, found exclusively in the icy expanse of Lake Baikal in Siberia, Russia. Your mother spent the last 9 months carrying you, finally giving birth in late winter, inside this insulated refuge built into the snow. You weigh barely 4 kilograms, about the size of a house cat, but this frozen shelter is your entire universe. Out there, the temperature drops to 20 degrees, yet inside the den, it stays slightly above zero, just enough for life to begin. Your mother, a strong and cautious female who raised this burrow with her own flippers, feeds you with milk so rich and fatty it feels more like melted butter than milk. That's what will keep you alive in this hostile world. The lactation period in your species lasts about 2 to 3 months, and during that time you'll grow rapidly, gaining several times your birth weight. This thick layer of fat, called blubber, will one day reach up to 14 centimeters in adult seals and act as your armor against the Siberian cold. But for now, you are blind to everything beyond your small icy home. Your den, or lair, is more than just a hole in the snow. It's a complex network of tunnels that protect you from predators and the wind. Sometimes you dig small passageways yourself, instinctively moving and scraping the walls, not to escape, but to exercise and stay warm. This behavior, observed in many young Baikal seals, helps you strengthen your muscles and thermoregulate during the most fragile stage of life. You are part of a species that evolved perfectly for this environment, streamlined, resilient, and completely adapted to the most ancient and pure lake on Earth. Outside, the world remains silent except for the faint cracking of ice. When your mother leaves through a narrow breathing hole to hunt, you stay behind, relying on the thick snow above you for safety. She dives deep beneath the ice in search of small, oily fish, mainly golemyanka, the endemic Baikal oilfish. These fish make up more than 90% of her diet in winter and spring, providing the fat she needs to produce milk rich enough to sustain you for days, even when she cannot return immediately. Your life has begun in isolation, but every day brings you closer to the surface and the light of the frozen world. Weeks pass. You've grown heavier, stronger, and more curious about the world beyond your icy cradle. As your mother disappears for longer hunts, you explore the tunnels around you, digging and reshaping the walls with your flippers. This instinctive digging behavior is vital. It keeps your body active, prevents hypothermia, and builds the coordination that you'll need later in the water. Beneath several meters of ice, your world feels small, but it's the safest place in the lake. Only here can you survive the sub-zero nights while blizzards howl above. Occasionally, you hear distant sounds, the groaning of the ice, the muffled calls of ravens, or the echo of cracking fissures. Lake Baikal itself is alive, constantly shifting as the massive ice sheet expands and fractures. It's the oldest and deepest freshwater lake on Earth, and it holds more water than any other, enough to fill a fifth of the planet's unfrozen freshwater reserves. You are part of an ancient cycle that has existed for hundreds of thousands of years. No other seal species has adapted to live entirely in freshwater, only you and your kind. The weeks of nursing pass, and your coat of soft white lanugo begins to thicken. Soon you'll molt into a silvery gray fur better suited for swimming and camouflage. Your mother now brings small fish to the den, introducing you to solid food. You learn by imitation, biting, chewing, swallowing. When the ice begins to melt and the snow tunnels collapse, she will leave you. It's not cruelty, it's survival. By that time, you'll have enough blubber and strength to start your independent life. You still depend on her warmth. When she's gone, the den feels colder, quieter, and you find yourself shivering, but instinct pushes you to move, to dig more, to explore more, to keep your blood flowing. This restless energy is part of who you are. One day, the ceiling above you cracks open with a sudden thud, letting sunlight flood in. It's the first time you see the sky, blinding, endless white and blue. You call out, uncertain, but your voice echoes back empty. You crawl toward the light, trembling, unaware of what waits outside. The surface is harsh and bright. The world you discover is far from peaceful. Ravens, black and patient, circle above, watching your tiny moving shadow. In seconds, one swoops down. Its beak strikes your skin once, twice, drawing blood. Others follow. You cry out, your voice shrill and desperate against the white silence. They peck relentlessly, and just as you begin to weaken, a shadow moves across the ice. Your mother. She bursts from the snow like a force of nature, scattering the ravens in a storm of flapping wings. None of them dare challenge an adult Baikal seal. You're safe for now. She calls you back to the hole in the ice and pushes you toward the water. It's your first plunge into the liquid world below, colder than anything you've ever felt, yet somehow familiar. You hold your breath, following her movements. Baikal seals are exceptional divers. Adults can stay submerged for up to 40 minutes, sometimes an hour, thanks to efficient oxygen storage and slowed metabolism. But you're still learning. Your lungs burn quickly, and panic rises until your mother releases a trail of air bubbles that forms a temporary air pocket beneath the ice. You surface beneath it and breathe. It's your first real breath underwater, a survival trick unique to your kind. The underwater world is alive with movement. Strange, translucent fish dart through the blue light. Golemyanka, your mother's favorite prey. She catches them effortlessly, her streamlined body gliding through the dim water. You follow her, clumsy but determined. Every dive is a lesson. Every breath, a step toward independence. Lake Baikal stretches beneath you for more than a mile in depth, ancient and silent, holding mysteries that no other mammal on Earth has ever fully known. Eventually, your mother leads you to a new den, safer, deeper, away from the reach of ravens. Days turn into weeks and your blubber thickens. You learn to breathe through ice holes, to recognize danger by sound, to hide when shadows cross above. And then, one morning, she's gone. The lake has begun to thaw. It's time for her to return to the deeper waters. You're alone now, truly for the first time, floating in a world of melting ice and open sky. Spring has come to Baikal. The ice begins to crack and vanish, and your silvery coat gleams under the growing sunlight. You are independent now, hunting small fish, exploring the shallows, resting on melting slabs of ice. Like most Baikal seals, you spend long hours diving and resurfacing, adjusting to the rhythm of life beneath the water. You are still small, just over a meter long and maybe 25 kilograms, but growing fast. Soon you'll join others on rocky islands where hundreds of seals gather to bask and molt. You begin to notice the patterns of life around you, the rhythm of light and shadow, the migrations of fish, the constant pulse of the lake. You feed mostly at dusk and night, following schools of Golemyanka and sculpins as they rise from the depths. Sometimes you dive 100 or even 200 meters to chase them, your flippers slicing through the cold blackness. Every successful hunt adds another layer to your body's fat, the vital insulation that lets you survive the freezing waters year-round. Your species' success depends on these adaptations, making the Baikal seal one of the best examples of evolution's precision in extreme environments. During summer, you rest on rocky shores, often near the Ushkan Islands. Here, hundreds of seals gather, young, old, mothers, and pups, all basking in the sun during their annual molt. You shed your old fur for new, sleek gray, and you barely move for days. You feel drowsy, warm, and heavy. Some days you even overheat. Yes, even in Siberia. The sun reflects off the water, and you pant to release excess heat. It's a strange, lazy season, when energy slows and instincts take over. Before we continue deeper into your story, if you're enjoying learning about your life beneath the ice, consider supporting this channel by subscribing and turning on notifications. It helps us keep exploring the world's most extraordinary creatures, from the frozen lakes of Siberia to the farthest corners of the Earth. Your curiosity and support make all of this possible. Years pass. You are now fully grown, around 1.3 meters long and weighing nearly 80 kilograms. You reach sexual maturity around age 5, and one spring day, you meet a male displaying his acrobatic dives nearby. The breeding season has begun. Baikal seals are mostly solitary throughout the year, but during mating season, they seek each other out beneath the ice. Males court females with underwater calls and graceful displays. After mating, he disappears. His role is done. The rest is up to you. Pregnancy lasts about 9 months. You carry a single pup. Twins are extremely rare. When winter returns, you prepare a den, digging through snow hummocks on stable ice. You remember your own birth here years ago. Inside this chamber, you give birth to your pup, repeating the same cycle your mother once followed. The care is entirely maternal. Males never assist. Your milk, rich in fat, will again allow your pup to grow 5 times its birth weight in just a few weeks. This isolated, icy nursery has ensured the species' survival for countless generations. Outside your den, the ecosystem depends on you. As an apex consumer, your diet controls fish populations and indirectly maintains the lake's clarity. By feeding on oily gullamyanka, you keep the number of these small fish in balance, which in turn helps preserve the crustaceans they eat, organisms responsible for filtering and cleaning Baikal's water. Every breath, every hunt, every movement contributes to this intricate chain of life. Baikal's crystal clarity, its liquid mirror, exists partly because of you. But your world isn't without threats. On the shorelines, brown bears sometimes hunt seals, and eagles may strike at pups. Yet the greatest dangers come from humans. Fishing nets entangle many of your kind. Pollution, from industrial chemicals to plastic waste, seeps into the lake, concentrating toxins through the food chain. And climate change threatens the ice you depend on for reproduction. Warmer winters could shorten the frozen season, making it harder to raise young. For now, your population remains stable, around 80 to 100,000 individuals, classified as least concern by the IUCN. But the future demands vigilance. By your 10th year, you know every rhythm of the lake. You dive with precision, hunting 3 to 5 kilograms of fish each day. You maintain a dozen breathing holes scattered across kilometers of ice, returning to each every few minutes to breathe. As winter deepens, the ice thickens, and keeping these holes open becomes a daily battle. You ram the ice with your muzzle, scraping it with your claws to prevent it from freezing shut. Without them, you would suffocate. Even in the hardest months, you remain calm, moving gracefully beneath the frozen ceiling. Each spring, you shed your fur once again. The molt leaves you lethargic and still, resting on melting ice floes. Sometimes you're surrounded by hundreds of others, all enduring the same slow process. During this time, your body focuses on regeneration, new fur, new strength. You eat little, relying on your fat reserves to survive. The sun burns brighter, the ice melts faster, and the water begins to open again. Soon you'll dive back into the depths, returning to the endless work of survival. Most of your year is spent alone. Baikal seals are solitary creatures by nature, though they tolerate close contact during molting and breeding. You communicate through sounds and body movements, from sharp grunts to underwater pulses. Beneath the ice, these sounds travel for kilometers. The lake amplifies your voice, connecting you invisibly to others who share this world. You live in silence, but never truly alone. Your life is balanced, a harmony of cold, hunger, and instinct. Every fish you catch, every breath you take beneath the frozen lake is part of a system older than memory. You are no longer a helpless pup. You are a master of the ice, a survivor of the purest freshwater lake on Earth. But Baikal, though vast, is no longer untouched, and danger will one day return in a form you cannot predict. Decades have passed. You've lived over 30 years now, older than most of your kind. Fertility declines after 30, but your body remains strong. You've raised pups, survived countless winters, and defended your breathing holes through storms and thaw. You could live another 20 years. Baikal seals have been known to reach over 50 years of age. But life in the lake is changing. There are more boats now, more noise, more invisible threads drifting through the water. One quiet afternoon, you swim close to shore, chasing a school of fish. Without warning, something tightens around your body. A net, nearly invisible in the water, wraps around your neck and flippers. You twist, pull, thrash, but every movement only tightens it more. You try to surface, but the mesh holds you down. Panic surges. The oxygen in your blood drains with each second. Above you, the light shimmers, unreachable. Your heart slows, instincts fading. The lake that gave you life now holds you still. Somewhere above, waves slap gently against the ice. Fishermen, realizing their mistake, cut the net loose, but it's too late. You drift downward, motionless, as the cold embraces you one final time. Your body will sink, and within days, the same fish you once hunted will feed on you, a cycle complete, as it has been for millennia. This is the life of the Baikal seal, born in ice, raised in isolation, surviving against predators, cold, and the slow hand of human change. Your kind still thrives, tens of thousands strong, but each life, like yours, carries the weight of the lake's fragile balance. If you've reached the end of this story, tell us in the comments which animal you'd like to see next. The wild is vast, and every creature has a story worth telling.